Alan Stratton from As Wood Turns. A couple of weeks ago I got a line on some walnut wood. I managed to buy a lot of this walnut. It's 3-inch thick. It's offcuts from gunstock blank cutting. I took the worst piece of the whole lot and I decided to make a bowl. This is the piece. So these are nice big trunks. This and this. I'll get in the future. I'll get probably 2 or 3 more bowls out of this. But let's make a nice walnut bowl. Fiddleback, some sapwood, and some rich heartwood out of that plank of walnut. Let's have some fun.
The first task, of course, is to true up the plank. With this one I managed to cut it fairly round and it was fairly easy to do it. Making sure I use a bowl gouge and not a spindle gouge. Always, for this sort of work, use a bowl gouge. Just a little bit more to true it up and then start shaping the outside of the bowl. Wanted to maximize what I got out of this piece of wood. 3 inches thick, could not make it any thicker, so I wanted to preserve every bit of that thickness that I could for the bowl. But I wanted to get a nice pleasing shape out of it also. So work the outside just a little bit more at this point. All this with the bowl gouge. And I'll change the cuts a couple of times, and at the end I will do some shear scraping. But with the change up between the heartwood and the sapwood on this walnut, it was very, very hard to get a good smooth cut, and I wound up doing some shear scraping. In order to maximize the depth, I decided not to turn a tenon on the bowl itself, so I glued on another waste block so that I could maximize the actual walnut piece. While I was at it, I treated a check and the bark inclusion with a little CA to stabilize it. Then once that dried, which was overnight, I went back and trimmed up the outside just a little bit more to get the shape of the bowl that I was after. Shear scraping. So time to flip it over and go for the inside. I'm using my largest bowl gouge. This wood was actually very nice to turn. Generally I'm turning green wood and you see it coming off very easily. I expected this to be much, much harder, and indeed it is hard, but I did make sure that I had sharpened my tools and trying the cuts and the holding process and to keep my weight balanced and everything that I've learned in order to achieve the proper stance, and I think it's starting to pay off. So this went very nicely and very well. Did stop quite often to check to the wall thickness. Didn't want it too thin, didn't want it too thick. Wound up just maybe a smidgen over 1/2 inch thick. To me it was a very good weight and heft. I know some people would want to go for 1/8 of an inch, but this one is potentially a utility bowl also. I didn't want it too thin, and to me this was just about the right thickness, had the right feel to it. At this point, just looking for the last little hump in the center of the bowl to get that out and down. But then with the difference in the cut, I decided to go ahead and use the heavy bowl scraper. This is again just cutting with a little bit of a burr out there on the edge of that scraper, and it's heavy enough to reach a long way over the tool rest and actually cut very nicely on this walnut. And it did make a very nice smooth finish. Just needed just a little bit more sanding to finish it up. There's the last little bit. I started to sand it here with the 80 grit. You can see the cloud of dust that it's raising, so I decided, no, I gotta cut down on that dust. So I'll step back and coated it with my mineral oil and wax mixture. Again, 75% mineral oil, 25% beeswax, and that significantly cut down the amount of dust that was generating. I really don't like to breathe walnut dust. Then take off the waste block that I had put on to mount it with, tool it off, get as much of that walnut showing, and didn't want to give up any more of that than I had to. But I do want a little foot on the bottom, a little recess so that it'll sit level on a tabletop. Then blend it on in, and finally cut away the little nub that was left on it. Here I'm using a vacuum chuck, and so it's using atmospheric pressure to hold it against the headstock, but I wanted to keep the tailstock on as long as possible, and then finish it up just a little bit with the heavy bowl scraper, and then back to sanding to blend it in. Then finish the outside with the walnut oil that I'm using for this size of bowl, and I think it's a beauty. Good fiddleback figure, good heartwood, good sapwood. It's a keeper. A little bark inclusion there on the side. I like it, and it's actually a gift for my son and daughter-in-law, and I think they like it. If there's anything else you'd like me to try, let me know. If you have critique, let me know.